How are you spending your Friday nights? Toasting your own marshmallows? Fire pit need rekindling? Come on, join us every Friday night at the Fire Pit, where our conversation really heats up.
It's time for Fire Pit Friday, the show for artists by artists. As always, your favorite hosts, Cece from the band Entropy 64 and Hype Man Rick from Not Just Country. Join us for conversation that's more hot. It's time for Fire Pit Friday.
I am so happy.
Tell me why you're happy.
Oh, man, I'm so happy.
I know it's Friday for one.
First of all, we're alive, we're breathing,
Right.
we're healthy.
Right.
Okay, but then it's Friday.
It is Friday.
And at the Fire Pit tonight,
Tell me.
okay, there's a group in town, in Nashville, that is hot, new, refreshing,
Right.
emotional, and they take you on this really cool journey when you listen to their music.
Okay.
Now, who wouldn't want to interview these people? Huh? Who?
We got them.
We got him.
We got 'em.
We got him at the Fire Pit.
That's right. That's all that matters.
Rick, I love you, man.
I love you too.
Okay, now listen up. Tonight, I want to introduce everybody who's listening on the podcast to an extra special group. They're called Jonae, and they're here tonight at the Fire Pit. You ready to go see them?
Let's go.
Jonae! Hello! Well, you're not really Jonae. I mean, you have a name. Your band name's Jonae. But
Correct.
why don't you tell the podcasters out there your name, what instrument you play, and there you go.
I guess I'll start. I'm on the end over here. So I'm Jody Allen Sweet. I'm the guitar player in the band and co-composer.
Hello, I'm Renee Trouet, and I am the fiddle/violinist, and I'm not the decomposer. I'm also a composer.
Hey, hello, I'm Tom Muller, and I am the percussionist of the band.
You guys have a unique sound. I can't just say it enough, but it's familiar. It's a sound that everybody is just very comfortable with. It's not like you're, from outer space or anything. But could you tell us how did Jonae evolve? How did this sound? Where is it coming from? What's going on with Jonae?
That's a good question. I think it started, well, I wrote songs in Nashville for many years with publishing deals for about 15 years. And I found myself writing these really cool chord progressions that nobody wanted.
Nice.
I loved them. Yeah, I loved them. And one day I had booked an appointment with Renee and her band, but it was with Renee in particular that day.
Well, this was a session.
This
It's
was
like
a
session,
typical
and
country
Renee's on a
Nashville
session.
songwriter.
10 to 2?
10 to 2 session,
Yeah.
believe it or not. And
I guessed it that.
you did. That was exactly what it was. So
Okay.
we got together and we did this, and we just started fooling around, and all of a sudden, the stuff that I was playing made sense to her, and vice versa. So we experimented and started playing some acoustic stuff, and it just worked. There were no boundaries for what we were doing, and as much as I love writing country music for Nashville, that's fantastic. But you are in a box.
Right.
And so to be free suddenly to do this, and we started, those chords worked, and nobody said you couldn't use them. And they just worked and they pleased people.
And it
So-
clicked.
and
Renee,
it
what
clicked.
was going through your mind at that point?
Oh, wow, just pretty much the same thing. It just started out with Jody. We were sitting around and we were writing lyrics, and he just he broke into these beautiful chords, and I was like, wow, that's beautiful. So then, I just started playing along, and next thing you know, we had this melody.
Wonderful thing. What were you doing? Were you doing a lot of sessions in town? Is this something that you're kind of like, okay, I've done all of this, and now what is this happening over here?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of session work and touring and whatnot, but yeah, this is definitely something that is just wow.
Yeah.
I mean, outside the box.
Yeah, absolutely. And then your brother steps in.
That changed a lot.
A lot.
It expanded us.
The man who becomes
Amazing
the
what
drums.
a metal drummer will do for very organic acoustic
Yeah, he is.
music.
Yeah, he is a heavy metal drummer.
We call him
For
the heavy
years.
metal percussionist.
So do you play the percussionists as they are now, or does a different rig?
Well, the kit that I use is a kit composed of very native instruments, African djembes and tumbeks and cajones and a mondo. I call it a mondo kit overall, but they're congas and I'll be using a very sparse version of the kit that I normally use. But essentially, just like Jody and Renee said, we started messing around with some different sounds, and all of a sudden I realized that playing with my hands and my feet as opposed to sticks and your feet
Right.
makes a big difference, and was perfectly suited to the sound of the organic thing that we were trying to
I love watching you play the drums. It's amazing. It's different, but and it fits within the band. But you're mesmerizing. You actually become the kit. The kit is you.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing.
It's a new art form for me, for sure. And Jonae is to step away from. I've been touring, and doing a lot of major records for hard rock fusion metal bands.
Wow.
But this is just a totally different art form. So it's been a great journey for me to just experiment. I think that's really what we've all done.
That's
it's
what
a
I'm
process of
feeling from
experimentation.
everybody right now too. It's just, this is your time.
That's right.
This is your time to say to the world or whoever, that this is me now. This is me, this is what I am, this is how I sound, and this is where I feel most comfortable. That's what I'm
Absolutely.
kind of hearing.
After all these years, I got to say, unequivocally, I am having more fun than I've ever had in music, and I've been playing music forever.
Yeah.
I have a ball. Every day I get to play with these guys is a great day.
That is awesome. What about that early success? Okay, so you have some great hits and great times on the road and great times with the heavy metal stuff. So now you're kind of like you are in a sense a teacher to other people who are doing exactly what you were doing at that point, not really able to experiment with their own sound, not having that creative control. How do you divide that line? I mean, now it's at your time, but back then, did you look at it like that, or were you just caught up in it? In that whole trying to get there was trying to get that cut, trying to get that hit, trying to do that tour. That's a tough question.
That's a tough question.
But there's a lot of people out there who ask those questions because they're not happy. They're not.
Well, for me, I certainly don't want to take over the stage here, but for me, my brother tried to coax me to come to Nashville probably for about 4 years. I was in Seattle working on a couple of record projects up there, and I fought him hook, line, and sinker because I just, as a more of a rock guy,
Right.
I just felt like Nashville was not going to be a good fit. But Jody more or less, convinced me that there are a lot of
Yay for Joey.
same sounding drummers, here because it's very much in a box. And so that was really before the inception of Jonae. And but he did convince me to come, and under duress I came. And then after a while, we just started fooling around with this acoustic thing, and that's how this thing was formed. And actually I'm much happier doing this than doing sessions, typical country sessions. This is a far more interesting and artistic way of expression.
And not having to write on the spot. I mean, most, if you're a session player, then basically you go in, have what you're going to do, and then you do it, and then you leave, and then you have your next session, and then you're boo boo do do do. And so now it's kind of like, ooh, all that freedom of expression.
Complete freedom.
You guys are on a ride. That's why, I mean, your album with the horse on the cover.
That's Wilder Horses.
That's what it is. You guys are full steam ahead. This is a perfect artwork for that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you, yeah.
It's
I
great
think
seeing you, too.
definitely.
Thank you very much.
Just one thing that has just kept us going, and just the excitement. This music is constantly pushing us as musicians towards the writing, the playing. It just feeds us. The music feeds us.
You listen to the progression between the albums, the first album and the second album.
And your second album, I believe, you just got placed in an independent film. Two of your tunes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Isn't that nice?
congratulations to
Thank
you.
you so much.
Yes, yes. Awesome stuff.
This is great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, I kind of know your inspiration is Sting. Is that for everybody, or yeah?
Well, I think we're all big fans of Sting.
Okay,
but,
absolutely.
What are some of your inspiration?
You know, it would be, if you look at our music and you look for inspiration that would go together, it's probably never going to happen.
Wow.
You know, I mean, we're big classical guys and we're big jazz guys, but heck, we love world stuff and we love stone country.
Yeah, everything.
You know, I love bluegrass. So, I mean, I love great music. Just whatever it is has to be great.
Yeah.
So I'm inspired by all of that. And, but like I said, don't look for correlations in our music, because some guy may hear something Celtic in part of it, and you may hear a Spanish influence in part of it, and you may hear a world thing and a jazz thing, because we're playing in such odd time signatures so often. I mean, we're playing in 11, and we're playing in in 5s, and we're playing in all of them, 9s and everything. We're just
It's amazing. You've got to see them live. They're just amazing.
I can't wait.
Yeah. And then
But-
Renee's like the lead vocalist in a sense, because she kind of carries the voice, at that point.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And then the man is the drums. Tom is the drum. It's
I
so
can't
bizarre.
wait. I can't wait to
And Rick is a percussionist, so
can't wait.
Oh yeah, you're gonna freak out.
immediately he came into the studio and went, "Ooh, toys! It's Christmas!" You better ask Tom about that.
That's right. That's
Well, you need to see the full kit,
right.
because this is just a little taste what
we,
we brought tonight.
We pride ourselves on obviously the records create a very, very specific vibe and a great journey, like you said. But when we play live, we kick it up 20 notches, and we have at least another 2 musicians that are playing with us that also contribute to a very huge sound. So the records they're tame is perhaps not the right word, but compared to us live, we're all live performers.
Well, you did
We like to bring it up a notch.
the Bluebird.
Yeah, we
So
were just
you
there.
played at the Bluebird.
Yes,
Tell
we did.
everybody how that went.
Fantastic.
Oh, it was a
Fantastic.
wonderful show, a great crowd, and we actually had the honor of doing an interview with the Travel Channel.
Oh,
Wow.
that's great.
Yes, they happened to be there,
Wow.
and we got to get a
Interview
cool
with the
interview.
Travel
And
Channel. That's
we're not
awesome.
really sure when it's going to air, but as soon as
Well,
we do,
put
we'll
a
let you
link
know.
to it on your website.
Yeah.
Everybody can go to.
We love playing live, and really, you got to see this band live, because we've got a cello player, we have a bass player, we have a violist also. So between that and the world percussion kit, the acoustic guitar, and Renee on the incredible fiddle that she plays.
I know. Okay, so the last time I saw you, actually, I think I commented, do your fingers actually catch on fire? A little bit? Do they
Well,
smoke?
They felt like it a few times.
Because I was like, they're going to catch on fire any minute now.
They felt like it
Yeah.
a few times. But I've held on.
Seriously. Oh my goodness. So what do you do? What do you do when you're not in Jonae? What is your, other than coming to Fire Pit and hanging out with us? I mean, you're pretty busy people, aren't you?
Well, I can speak for myself. I'm doing Jonae at least 6 days a week.
Wow.
Nice.
It's a full-time job. Between all the pieces that we've recorded so far that I've got to continue to mix,
Yeah.
and all the pieces that are continuously being.
Because your library's huge.
Library is very huge,
Sure.
and then all the new pieces that need to be recorded still. It's a never-ending process. So, I mean, there aren't enough hours in the day.
So you're the studio rat. You bury yourself in the studio.
I don't know how that ever happened. I was just a producer and a musician. How did I ever become an engineer too? This sucks.
No, it kind of does, yeah. Because you're the everything man. You
Yeah, I
have to do
became
it
that
all.
monkey, so I don't know, but I actually enjoy it now. So I really do like the process of recording
Oh, that's
and
great.
mixing. I've become that guy. So now I'm one of those egghead guys. What kind of gear have you got in your studio? What do you got?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's catchy.
How did you come up with the name Jonae?
It's not all that clever, actually. Since Renee and I had started in the beginning, and there's Jody and there's Renee, we have Jonae,
Okay.
and it almost sounded French or
It does
Celtic
sound
or
French.
something. You know, we
We
weren't sure
were-
what it sounded like.
We were recording one evening, and we were like, "What are we going to call this?"
Yeah.
And, we were having wine and stogies and
Yeah.
what are you going to call it? Scotch.
It was the
Jonae! Whoa, that's
Oh, yeah, by
pretty
the way,
cool.
when you hear our recordings, just about everything we've done in the studio has been amid tons of scotch and tons of cigars.
Oh, my
So-
good man!
So
Yes.
everything.
Thank you.
Thank you for that one. Because that's when you're so relaxed and creative, and you're kind of like.
Oh, in my
you know,
studio, that's how it goes. You gotta come in there. You gotta light one up if you're so inclined and enjoy a scotch. And I kind of miss having a cigar right now.
It's all about
Where's
the
the
atmosphere.
cigars? We can smoke a
We
cigar.
can fire them up. Here.
That's great. It's
I
a
won't
podcast.
say no to a cigar.
We're allowed to do that. We can drink. I was telling Rick today. I said, "Hey, do you remember those really great shows with like Dean Martin?
Oh yeah.
You know,
very,
and
everybody-
Sinatra, and they're
Yeah.
like smoking and
Yeah.
drinking. And
Oh,
it's
it's the
like,
best. Ah.
what happened to those days? Censorship.
Let's bring
just
'em
totally
back.
yeah, let's light it up.
Every day in my studio's like that. So
That's hilarious.
It's all about the atmosphere.
It is. It is.
we need to get a cigar and single malt scotch endorsement. So anybody out
Oh,
there that's
hello. I like the way he thinks very much.
hello Scotland. Do you mind?
Hook
Tonight's
us up.
episode is sponsored by Miss Daisy. Miss Daisy
Yeah.
gave us yummy food. There's
Yeah.
Well,
Very
thank you,
good.
Miss
Yes,
Daisy.
she
That
did.
was
Thank you,
delicious.
Daisy.
Thank you, Miss
It was
Daisy.
delicious.
Thank you.
That's
Wasn't it
terrific.
good? It was really good.
Yes, it was.
So good, it got me sweating over here.
Tom, I want to ask you, how's Nashville treating you? So you moved, and your brother said you got to do this, and you travel all that way. How's it going? It's hard.
It's going well. I have a beautiful home in Kingston Springs, so I'm a little out of the city, which is something I really enjoy. You know, a little bit of the country atmosphere. I love nature. I'm very athletic, so I like to go out with my dogs and be in that kind of surrounding. And overall, musically, I think it's going very well. I'm creating a niche for myself here in town as someone that plays more aggressively, but I'm not really marketing myself a great deal as a session player because Jonae has taken a great deal of time, and I want to put the time in because I honestly believe that there's great things ahead because of the uniqueness of the sound and you know, again, really coming here almost under duress. You know, I've never really wanted to really just become another Nashville player. You know, I'm here to say there's a new kid in town. You know?
Right. How about like songwriting sessions? Are you into something like
You
that?
know, I definitely write, but for the most part, Jody and Renee are the principal. They're not really songs; these are pieces of music. Work writers. The way we get together, you know, essentially Jody and Renee start to work on chord progressions and melody lines, and when they have that sort of in place and they think an arrangement is together,
Right.
then I'll come in and start working on various patterns, and the drums are not only a rhythmic entity, but also because of the nature of the Mondo kit, becomes also a very pitch oriented type of instrument. So I have to look very carefully at the tribal rhythms and the type of vibe that a kit like that can create
That's
to
awesome.
complement
What they're doing.
the music that's coming out.
And it works. It completely works.
I think it
So,
does.
so how has the Nashville scene treated you all?
Good question.
Regarding
As far-
Jonae or
Yeah, regarding Jonae.
they're loving it. Everybody that hears it, we have guys that are sitting on the back of tractors that you would think would be the you know, the diehard, just maybe country, really diehard country guys. Even that demographic is loving what we're doing. So we haven't had anything but raves. So I think we're doing the right thing. I think we're on the right track with this.
Oh,
Cool.
that's fantastic.
sweet.
We're very fortunate.
Wow. Okay, so what's next for Jonae? Where are you going? What you doing? You going on tour?
We want a tour. We're going to finish up. We're recording for. We're going to have to record here for about another next month and a half, but we want to start doing a world tour. And I think Europe would be a great place for us.
Oh my goodness.
So that's in the works right now. That scheduling is in the works, and
That's great.
yeah. And then we'd like to tour some PACs and jazz fests and things here in the States as well. So
Yeah. very awesome. Wow, they need a podcast to tour with them. Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely. You come anytime.
And Megan a great
Come with us.
photographer too.
Maybe photography. You
Yeah,
never know,
never know.
Callie. You never know.
Absolutely.
No, I'm so happy for you guys because I'm a fan of your music. I think it's fantastic. I mean, when I first met Jody, I met you at the Screenwriters Conference.
Right.
And you gave me your CD, actually the first one. Yes. I gave you your first CD. And I listened. No, maybe it was the
It
second.
was the second one.
Second one.
You gave me the second one.
Right.
And I listened to that in the car. I was like, ooh, wow. No kidding. Film scoring and soundtrack.
Yeah, I think it's ideal for films and
It
even
is.
commercials and things too, and just it's
Wow.
yeah, it's really unusual stuff. So for those of you who haven't heard it yet or just about to, yeah, it's geared quite nicely towards film.
Where can people buy this?
You can go to Jonae, www.jonaemusic.com, and that's JONAE music.com, and you can go to our main website there, and you can purchase records from there. You can also go to iTunes and purchase our
Right.
music, and you can go to CD Baby and lots of other places.
MySpace and what have
MySpace as
you. So
well.
how is the self promotion right now for you? Are you doing well with it? Is it
Yeah,
something
it's coming along.
Okay.
It's
It's
growing.
hard.
It is still hard.
It is hard.
It is hard to get everybody that you want, but it is moving. So we're
just keep plugging?
we're doing what we can on that end because you got to get the people to hear it. So
Exactly. What about a holiday album? Can Jonae do a holiday album?
that'll be a long time off, I think.
July's passed already, right? You have to record that in July to get it ready for the holidays.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Here's a
Yeah.
question for you. Besides, coming up as kids, who were some of your mentors in like music?
Now me coming up, it was Jackson Browne and the Eagles and Fogelberg and all those guys as a young dude in Los Angeles, and so I loved that whole California country sound, and that's what made me. It was guys like Jackson Browne that made me want to be a songwriter,
Oh wow.
Wow.
and that's what I did. I was a singer-songwriter for years.
But he was your inspiration to
Yeah, he would be the first guy that made me go, oh, gosh, I got to write. I've got to, I've got angst too.
How about you?
Well, I did grow up with music in my family.
Right.
My grandmother she would play square dances, and my father actually played fiddle. So I would definitely say that they were mentors. I have a lady friend of mine, I've known her for years. She really influenced me. Her name is Denny Bonet, and she was kind of the one that introduced the whole crossover thing to me. Like, wow, you could do this, and you could, you can play this on a violin. You can do that, and just that whole exploration.
Right.
But definitely, I listened to a lot of Jean-Luc Ponty and Stephen Grappelli, the late Stephen Grappelli, Johnny Gamble, Mark O'Connor, Charlie Daniels. I would just listen to all that. Bob Wills, just depending on my mood.
Yeah,
But those are just some of the mentor influences
that's awesome.
of mine. So.
That is awesome. What about you, Tom?
Well, for me, I was raised by very amazingly gifted and famous classical musicians. My mom's a concert pianist, and she's retired now. My father was one of the biggest violinists in Europe, and so I was raised very much on classical music. And as I started to become, really, really more of a musician, as I was growing up, it became apparent that I wanted to start investigating the world of percussion. And then all of a sudden, I was listening to Beethoven and Bach and Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff, and then all of a sudden I discovered Judas Priest and Sabbath.
I was wondering, where was this
Rush.
going? Like Rachmaninoff.
And I decided, okay, I'm going to do a total turnaround.
It was all over then. Yeah.
And no, but it was great. My parents, Rick, were very, very supportive, and they realized that I'm all about power. I love the power of the instrument, and
To go to drums. you know, to have that influence and then go to drums?
Well, you know, I'm classically trained, and I also I spent some time at Berklee College of Music, so I have a lot of strong jazz background, and the fusion of rock and jazz really became a very big part of my, you know, feeling of where I wanted to take myself as a player. So as I started to listen to that side as well, you know, fusion, Brecker Brothers and Jean-Luc Ponty and Stanley Clarke and Billy Cobham, and you know, I really found that the power of fusion, you know, not the finesse of jazz, but the power of rock became a very strong staple for me as a player, and so I started to evolve in that regard by listening to those kind of bands and various drummers, and then, you know, essentially that's how I, you know, developed my own style, and again, you know, with Jonae, it's a very specific style because of, you know, essentially all I'm doing is transcribing drum set patterns, you know, the traditional drum set patterns. I play double bass and that kind of thing, and I really just decided, well, let's get rid of the sticks, but leave the four-limb approach, you know, both feet and both hands. And as a result, you know, it really started to work with the sound that we're trying to put together.
Wow.
Perfect.
How long did it take to come up with that concept? Was that something that was relatively fast, or was it?
You know,
Jonae?
really, Jody was mainly, you know, when my brother and I started to put this thing together, we thought about, you know, approaching it from perhaps a traditional standpoint, but then he was really about, look, let's do it all, you know, with the hands. And so, you know, it started for me by just bringing a cajon in and just, you know, working on some rhythms, you know, rhythmically between the guitar and myself, and then of course with Renee. And then it started to evolve because we discovered that just one drum wasn't enough, and because of pitches, and then we started to put, you know, some djembes and things in.
I can relate to that.
It's
I can relate to that.
spreading.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
And now when you see his kit, you'll see
Well, and
the
you know,
madness.
again, the
He's like
live,
a transformer.
Exactly. The live thing for us is it's quite aggressive and quite powerful, and because of the pitched nature as well as the rhythmic nature of my instrument, you know, I believe that I've designed and created a perfect kit. And Cece, you've seen the kit.
Yeah.
You know, it's a gorgeous instrument. You know, I look at it as a full instrument, but it's composed of gorgeous instruments as well. And for that reason, I think that, you know, we've found the right formula.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
His kit is an entity all its own.
It is.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
It's a work of art, and it's
It
a
really is.
But
focal
it's a
point.
nice dance because you dance, or everybody is dancing back and
Absolutely.
forth, and it's
That's
really
right.
it's really nice. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, we know it's
I like
special.
you guys a lot.
We like you too.
I like you guys.
Thank you so much. for having us
I can
today. It's
see
awesome.
I can see really great things happening for you guys.
Thank you very
We
much.
believe that
And
too.
and I'll be knocking on your door. Remember that crazy girl
No,
interview?
you'll be right
You'll
there
be
with
sharing
us.
with
Okay,
us.
okay.
Success will be ours.
Because
no question.
it's going to be wonderful
No
and
question.
huge. So everybody needs to go to your website again.
www.jonaemusic, Jonae music.com.
Now tonight,
Don't
we
forget
have
about
a
the MySpace.
And MySpace
and
as well.
MySpace.
Jonae, you know, MySpace/Jonae Music. So
Just Google them, people.
That's right.
Jonae.
AE.
Jonae. That's a nice little edit. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
So now tonight we're honored that you're going to perform live for us.
We'd be
the
thrilled to
show.
do it for you.
And do you have a song in mind off of which CD, or is this something that's just going to be
Thought we'd play you something
surprise
new,
me?
maybe. We'll
gonna
surprise
perform-
you.
Yes.
Something new, something.
One
I
new
like
and one
that.
old. We're going
We'll
to
do
do one new
a
song and
couple of
one.
them,
One
maybe.
Really?
we've been around for a while.
You
Yeah.
see what I mean? I like the fire pit. Yeah.
And now you have to realize that this is just a part of the band,
Very
part of the
impromptu.
kids.
Right,
So this
right.
is
Right.
very
Yeah.
broken down
Yeah.
compared to how it's orchestrated. And,
Yeah.
But we're thrilled to just
We
give you a
had-
little taste.
We had to leave the semi for Tom at home.
Yeah, the kids semi. Yeah.
And we left the bass player and the
Well,
cellist.
you know
and the
what?
violist at home,
Drummers
too.
have a bad rap because they have all of the equipment to carry, and
Oh,
Oh,
a
yeah.
regular drum kit would be nothing
Yeah.
compared to his
Well,
kids.
you know, thankfully I've had because of some of the major things that I've been involved with, I've had a tech working with me most of the time.
Yeah.
So now we just got to get to the point where I can get the tech
Oh, yeah.
to this group. as
Yeah,
well.
must have drum tech. For the love of God.
Well, here we are in the podcast. Are you looking for a drum tech?
Yes.
Any drum tech out there?
And we desperately are seeking.
Must work for
a
peanuts.
Desperately seeking DT.
Peanuts are good.
We must work for the love of music.
It's good, yeah, and the love of music. Let's just face it, you guys. That's you can tell your sound is for the love of music because it's very emotional.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can tell you really, really like what you do.
We are lucky people
love it.
Oh
to
man,
be doing this.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate
you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thank you.
I can't wait
Very
to
honored
hear
to
you.
be here.
Let's set up and let's get
Sounds
you
great.
going.
Okay.
I'd love to hear
Sounds
you.
great.
Yes.
Look forward.
Thank you, Jonae.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Fire Pit Friday. Hope you had fun with CC, Rick, and the entire gang. Tune in next time for some more fun. We'll keep the fire high. This is Power Mustafa Coyote, liking girls and signing out. Yeah!